All right. That's Chris Berman's silly ass. The reason for that clip, or that little soundbite, was because the home runs this year have seemed to be out of control compared to the previous couple seasons. I was sitting here watching the Red Sox Tigers day game on MLB Network, and they went to a highlight to the Nationals Cleveland game, and David Murphy strokes one over the right field fence for his 20th, which just had me shaking my head. Like, did I say David Murphy? Excuse me, Daniel Murphy. And it had me shaking my head because it's Daniel Murphy. This guy's career high in home runs was 14, which was completed last year. Now he has 20, and there's like 60 some odd games remaining, and Daniel Murphy has 20 home runs. It's like, what the fuck is going on in baseball this year? I mean, I don't want to just totally point to juiced baseballs, or maybe they're just turning the blind eye on PEDs this year, or I don't know what's going on, but the home runs are way up. I took a cursory glance on ESPN's stats page, and last year there were 9 players that hit at least 40 home runs. This year there's 10 players that are projected to hit 40, so that's about the same. But when I took it a step further and looked at how many players hit 20 or more home runs last year, it was 60 something. I'm sorry I don't have the exact number, but it was in the 60s. This year, when I looked at the projected players, or the players, excuse me, that are projected to hit 20 home runs or more, it was in the 90s. That is that's like a 50% increase. All right. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but home runs just seem to be flying out of the ballpark this year. I did not find the stats that just gave me a complete home run total for the entire majors this year compared to last year. I know this year's well on track to blow out last year, but it's just curious because you saw the power numbers decline and you're thinking, okay, this is back to the mean as far as baseball goes. You know, home run leaders are only hitting 40 something. You're getting more athletes, more good all around players instead of just these big bodybuilding thumpers. But this year has just been a little different with the power. I just did not expect it. I mean, Ian Kinsler, who once hit for power when he was with the Rangers, but his power seemed to just disappear the past couple seasons when he's been with the Tigers. He has 20. Like, it's just, where the fuck is his power coming from? And articles are starting to fly up that people are asking the same question. What is the deal with the home run totals just going up? And you really notice it in fantasy because when you look at your lineup, sometimes you're feeling good. You're like, this so-and-so guy I took in such and such round has 20 homers already. Yeah, heck yeah, that was a steal. And then you look around the league and you're like, well, hell, there's a fucking million guys that have 20 home runs right now. It's just, yeah, I can't explain it. Poppy, another one, power hitter, obviously, but the guy's like 40. He already has 25. He's on pace for, I think, a career high in home runs for a single season. Here we go. We got Miggy up to bat. Miggy, it seemed like his power is starting to dissipate a little bit now that he's in his 30s. He has 20. Looks like his power's returned. I just don't know if it's, these players have changed their approach and just simply everyone's swinging for the fences, but I feel like they've been doing that for a long time now, and it's usually just resulted in more strikeouts than higher home runs since the game began to clean itself up. It's just weird, man. That's just thought I'd bring that up because I was just thinking out loud, and I was like, why am I talking to myself? Let me throw it on the podcast. Fuck it. Why not? Guess another topic I could talk about, I guess I could bring it to the Cubs. And last night, Cubs lost the second game in a row to the White Sox. with James Shields on the mound, mind you. James Shields pitched 7 2/3 innings and didn't allow a run. The Cubs could only muster 4 hits in the game. The pitching was okay overall. Hendricks, I think, allowed just 2 runs. No, I think he got the 3rd run charged to him because Travis Wood decided to walk 3 guys in a row. But this team just hasn't been playing well for a while now. I read that they are 12-20 in their last 32 games, so more than a month's worth of games. They are well below 500. And I was having a discussion with a Cardinals fan on the fantasy community I'm a part of, which is fantasysportsaddicts.com. This Cardinals fan is very knowledgeable. He's respectful. Me and him, when we go back and forth, we're both, cordial. We're realistic. We're not, saying ridiculous shit about each other's team. There's a mutual respect there. I know that the Cardinals have been good, forever, and he's not an idiot. He knows the Cubs are having a great year and should be good for a little while. But anyways, he's, bringing up the fact that he feels the Cardinals are going to win the division. And that's fine. I'm not putting it out of the realm of possibilities that could happen. But I think maybe, and I can't speak for him, maybe he's being affected by the Cubs' recent play. Maybe there's some recency bias in there. The Cubs have been playing so shitty. I mean, this is who they are now. And that's where I have an issue is, and even some writers are starting to put out stuff about maybe this is the Cubs, and people are tweeting the same thing, sarcastic shit like, I thought this was the best team of all time, blah, blah, blah. Well, yes, the Cubs have been bad, but just because they've been so bad for the past month or so, does that totally erase their quick start? I mean, did that just not happen? Just totally ignore the fact that they started out the season, whatever it was, 27-9 or something stupid? So you can't ignore that. You can't just pretend that didn't happen. Like that capability in this team is still there. So for me, this might be a political answer, or I'm kind of straddling the fence here, but this team for me is somewhere in between that hot start and how they played for the past 30 or so games. Okay, this team is a good team. If you examine the lineup now with Chapman, you like the back end with Strop, Rondon, and Chapman, of course, and the starting staff. They've had their ups and downs for the past month or so, but overall, you like the staff. So anywhere you look on this team, it's a high-quality team. This isn't a 12-20 type team, okay? So I fully suspect them to pick up the pace sometime in the near future. There's actually, after today, there's 62 games remaining on the Cubs schedule. Today is the Cubs' 100th game. And it's been a tale of 2 seasons within that 100 games. Great start. Now they've been bad for the past month or so. But I fully expect them to pick up the fucking pace and not lose to James goddamn Shields and shit like that. And I think they'll hold off the Cardinals. They currently have a 6.5 game lead. And if they don't, well, I'll be getting a pie in my face because I bet this Cardinals fan that the Cubs would hold on. But we'll see. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up. Just some thoughts on why the hell the power numbers just seem to be insane. Not insane, at least compared to the steroid era, but why do they seem to be back up? I mean, 90-something guys are projected for 20-something home runs. That's kind of high. Kind of high. Interesting. Well, till next time, this has been another Riz on my podcast.